Most men think they are improving, but they're actually just becoming lonely and becoming more robotic day by day. Today we are talking about the number one mistake men make on self-improvement, because I think a lot of guys are just getting it all wrong. And when I look at the comment section, I see it on a consistent basis. I remember one guy, he said, "Oh, I saved $100 because I was talking about how a lot of guys feel like losers because they get hooked on to pornography and just masturbating instead of going out and meeting people." And he's like, "No, I feel like I just saved $100. And see, a lot of people, they get caught on to this script that they've been given to prioritize the dollar bill over everything else. I see it time and time again. I saw it with my father, and that's why I can see through the bullshit. I'm not telling you money's not important, but I say a lot of these guys use self-improvement and chasing a dollar to cope. They say, "Oh, I don't have time for that because I'm doing this." But when does that end? You see, even characters like Myron Gaines, I met him in person before. I used to watch him a long time ago, but when you look at his situation, it was very odd. He's 35 years old. He hit every single point that he said you need to hit before you start a family. But now it's like, oh, I can't start a family now. I want to get this many subscribers. I want this many people to be watching my channel. And it's like, dude, you make millions of dollars. You got multiple properties. I think he said he has over like 13 properties. He's probably has about $500,000 in his crypto account. If not now, it's going to happen pretty soon within the next couple months. And then you talking about you have this woman that's so great. She's such a solid woman. And you say, "No, I don't have time for her. She wants a family. I don't have time for that because I need to get more subscribers. I need to get more followers." And it's like a lot of guys use I need to keep chasing the dollar bill to avoid things that they haven't truly addressed. And even when I ask my dad, like, why doesn't he have friends and stuff? He'll say, "Oh, it's because I'm always working." If he missed any of my sports events growing up, he would say, "Oh, it's because I'm always working." And see, this is the thing. He made plenty of money and he really makes his own schedule. He kind of decides how many people he sees a week. And I don't say this to bash my dad. I just say this because it's very common amongst men in America. He would make all this money and then he would waste it all. And it's like you are prioritizing something where if you just made smarter decisions with your money, you wouldn't need to slave away so much. But they want you to slave away. They want you to be a dummy with your money, and a lot of guys have been given that script. They don't think for themselves, so as soon as they get that script, they just stick to it. But if you were actually being logical, see, a lot of guys say, the red pill is about guys being more logical. It's like, no, a lot of these guys aren't logical. Because if you actually look at it, the guys that commit suicide or the guys that avoid relationships, they tend to be very social, isolated from everybody. A lot of those guys do make pretty good money. They do chase that dollar. But they don't have any meaningful relationships in their life. So as soon as stuff starts getting tough, they don't have anybody to talk to. They don't have anybody to lean on. And they take their life. I believe it's men from the ages of 45 to 64 are the most likely to commit suicide. And a lot of those guys, they aren't married. And when you look at the numbers, and I'm not encouraging marriage at all, or not at least legally, but when you look at the numbers, married men live longer and they tend to be healthier. So if we're so logical, why are there so many men coping and avoiding dating? And see, I think it's the same way with a lot of these women. A lot of these women, they are running on a script that they can't even explain. I talked about it probably 6 months ago. I was talking to a girl and she wants to be a social worker and work with kids and all this beautiful stuff. And, I told her like, when I'm older and I want to start having a family, I would prefer my woman to only work part-time. And she told me like, well, if I was working part-time, it's because I want to work part-time, not because my man wants me to work part-time. And I was just kind of like, well, why would you want to watch somebody else's kids, but you wouldn't want to watch your own kids? Does that make any sense at all? You want to watch somebody else's kids, but you wouldn't want to watch your own kids. And she couldn't even explain it to me. Her only response to that is like, oh, I only want to do that if I want to do it, not if you want me to do it. I'm like, why are you being so combative? When did you want to do what your man wants to do? But when you look at her situation, she was raised by a single mother, so she has this very feminist type of way of thinking. And that's how they want people. They want everybody to chase the dollar and prioritize making money, regardless of your mental health. And a lot of people get stuck into that trap where everything's about making a dollar. That's not true self-improvement. And see, this is what really distance me from a lot of these self-improvement coaches or dating coaches. A lot of these guys, they go along with that same script. You know, if you truly a self-improvement coach or whatever you want to call yourself, when someone goes and gets coaching from you, learning from you, there should be times where it doesn't feel comfortable. It's not comfortable to self-improve. But see, a lot of these guys, they find a way to make money and they just stick to that script because that's what's comfortable. They're scared to talk to women. They're scared to socialize. So they run this route like, oh, it's because I'm making more money. I'm focused on my grind. Why can't you focus on multiple things? Yes, you can prioritize making money, but once you're done making your money for the day, you have time to socialize, you know? And even when you think about it, like, humans aren't as logical as you think they are. The more you understand a human being, the more you realize how emotional we are. And I fell for this too. Even when I go back and think about like the woman I was the most attracted to, had the best time with too. When I look back, she probably had the most red flags of the vast majority of women I dealt with, you know? You arguing, y'all going back and forth, it's a roller coaster. You like, damn, I'm ready to end this. I'm done with her. You ride in the car, I'm done with this bitch. you in your head like, I'm done with this bitch. This is the last time she's seeing me. Next day, boy, you back over there busting gallons of nut in her. I'm talking gallons. You know, you in that thing, woo-wee. Cause she know how to put it on you. Now, if I was thinking logically, as soon as I see all those red flags, I'm done with her. But see, that almost, sometimes it turns you on to her more. Sometimes you're more attracted to that roller coaster ride, whether if we want to admit it or not. And I recently watched a podcast. I don't even remember what it was. But the guy was talking about how, you know, these AI girlfriends, he like, you know, pretty soon, if they really want men to connect with these AI girlfriends, they are gonna make the AI girlfriend disagree with the man every now and then. She's gonna be combative just a little bit, not too much, but they're gonna argue just a little bit because the men becomes more attracted to her. See, a lot of us, we think we want this woman that just does whatever we say, and no, a lot of guys, when they get that, they still unhappy, you know? So I'm not saying I want like this headstrong chick that just always arguing, but you know, a little bit of argument sometimes makes the relationship a little stronger. Like I said, sometimes when you have that makeup sex, sometimes that's the sex that hits the most. You think you done with the chick and now she, you know, apologizing and then you wearing that thing out. Shawty done got more wet than she's ever been. And it's the same way with her. I talked about this before too, the same girl I'm thinking of. I remember she told me like, Cole, if I ever like was messing with a guy and found out he slept with another chick while he was talking to me, I'd be done. A couple months passed, you know. She asked me, Cole, have you ever slept with any women since we've been talking? I said, yeah, I did. And, you know, she was like heartbroken. But probably 15, 20 minutes, we hooked up and I swear, dog, the bed was soaking. The bed turned into a water bed, you know? And see, logically, that doesn't really make a lot of sense. If you say you don't like this, why is you getting so turned on by it? Because we're not logical creatures, we're emotional. And see, that's why a lot of people mess up, because they think we're so logical, and the systems that realize we are emotional are taking advantage of you. So they can put you on this script, make you feel like you're logical, but really you're making a mistake because you're prioritizing a dollar bill over everything, and then you're neglecting your relationships, and then you get in this category of men that are suicidal. If you're so logical, why would you be in that group? You know, and I'm not telling guys, you know, not to prioritize money, but I'm telling you, you have time for other things after that. And that's why I came at certain guys. And guys can call me a clown, a goofball, a clout chaser, whatever you want to call it. But they won't argue my point. Anybody I critique, I promise you, if we went on a live debate, they would look stupid. They would look stupid, point blank period. You know, and that's why they would call me a clown, but they wouldn't go live with me. You know, so I say all that stuff to say this. You have to make your own script and actually make it make sense. Don't just go with what's comfortable. Don't just go with what the mainstream says. Because when you look out and about, especially in America, most of these people are fat. Most of these people are sloppy. They have a weak body and they're weak mentally. They're fucked up in the head. A lot of these people are suicidal. A lot of these people aren't enjoying life. Even a lot of these people that are getting after a dollar, they're still not enjoying life. Life is just passing them by. So, you know, I think a lot of people think we're a lot more logical than we actually are. You know, I see a lot of guys, and I'm not pushing marriage at all. I'm not pushing marriage at all. I think it very much favors the woman. But at the same time, when you look at the numbers, men that get married, they live longer and they tend to be healthier. And that's what it is. You know, people can argue that, but that's the facts. So stop neglecting relationships. Because I've seen it growing up way too many times, dog. My dad would miss a sports event. My dad would say, oh, I don't have any friends. And he said, oh, it's because I was always working. That was like the crutch, you know? And I think a lot of people, they don't like to socialize because that makes you reflect on yourself a lot. A lot of people don't want the truth. A lot of people don't see themselves, you know? And that's why they reach for devices. That's why they reach for alcohol. They reach for pornography. They reach for marijuana because they don't want to address the truth, you know? And even this guy, you know, that made me want to do this topic when I'm talking about, you know, when you feel like a loser because you always jacking your dick off and watching pornography, like, I don't feel like a loser. I feel like I saved $100. It's like, well, you're really coping and you don't even realize it. You're really coping and you don't even realize it. You know, it's going to be like the same thing with these guys that get an AI girlfriend or these guys that are subscribed to OnlyFans. They say, oh, it's easier, but your whole life is a fucking lie, you know? Like, you're actually jacking your dick off to some random dude in India. Like, how do you not feel bad about that? Like, how do you actually feel good about that? These guys are, oh, I'll get an AI girlfriend. How do you actually feel good about that? That your existence was so pathetic that you couldn't get an actual human being to like you, to want to actually be with you. That's truly pathetic. That's not self-improvement at all. That's a whole bunch of coping and that's a whole bunch of bullshit. That's a motherfucker lying to himself because he doesn't want to address the truth. That's the way, man, that's the way it is, you know? And like I said, most guys will live a lie. They'll keep bullshitting. They'll keep pointing fingers. They'll keep talking about the modern woman. Well, fucking look at yourself. Before you have all these opinions about everybody else, look at your fucking self, you know? Like, how do you feel good about paying some random chick you don't know to show you her butthole when you could literally go on anything? You know, they have all these websites. You can see women for free, but you decide to pay. That says a lot about you. And see, that's the thing. A lot of guys will say, oh, I'm about my grind. I don't need to socialize right now. I don't need a relationship. But then they in the absence of the relationships of meaningful connections, they have to get this artificial, this bullshit, this OnlyFans girl that they pretend like they're talking to. They have to have that. It's just like a lot of people, they don't have a good meal prepared, so you go and get this fast food. You go and eat some junk food. And see, this is the thing. Sometimes you can get away with eating fast food. You know, I grew up on a lot of fast food. But over time, it's gonna compound. Over time, it's gonna catch back up to you. So you think you're okay, you feel fine, you might be paying these OnlyFans chicks. You might be one of these guys that say, oh, I'll get an AI girlfriend, Cole. I'm not worried about these 304s out here. And you might feel good at first. A lot of people probably won't feel good at first, but over time, it's gonna wear you down. Just like if you eat a whole bunch of fast food throughout your whole life, it's gonna start wearing you down. You maybe go a couple years, but down the road, when you get in that area of, let's say 45 to 64, that's when it's really gonna hit you like a brick wall. And that's when you're gonna make a foolish decision. And that's when you're gonna be depressed and stressed and really just hate life and realize how much you truly missed out on, or you'll keep coping. Most people will cope their whole life, man. But that's what I got for y'all today, man. That's the number one mistake guys make on self-improvement. They don't even know what they are actually doing. And that's not self-improvement at all. That's just coping. But make sure to like the video, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch y'all boys in the next one.